From Hollywood, USA, how's your mother-in-law? And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our mother-in-laws for game one. Mother-in-law number one hails from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She has two son-in-laws, and what's more, they like her. Meet Mrs. Mary Batch. Mother-in-law number two is from Elkton, Maryland. Her daughter and son-in-law eloped to Las Vegas. Meet Mrs. Catherine Lindbergh. Mother-in-law number three hails from the Holy Land and loves to scream out loud at the movies. Meet Mrs. Weedad Rafidi. Each mother-in-law will try to win the favor of this jury of bachelors and bachelorettes, who will select the one mother-in-law in each game they would most like to call their own. Our mother-in-laws will have their own celebrity representatives who will address the jury in their behalf. Celebrity number one will appear on the Red Skelton Show January 9th. One of America's favorite comics, Mr. Nipsey Russell. Celebrity number two from the Today Show, from the Tonight Show, from the Middle of the Day Show, Mr. Milt Heyman. Celebrity number three is currently co-starring as Newkirk in the popular television series Hogan's Heroes, Mr. Richard Dawson. And now, here's your host and the star of How's Your Mother-in-Law, Wink Martindale.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you had to pick your own mother-in-law from one of these three lovely ladies, which one would you choose? Well, you're all invited to join our bachelor jury in making that decision right after this message.
It's a very special season on ABC.
Detective Lieutenant Mike Haynes, 27th Precinct. Detective Sergeant Jeff Ward holds the mayor's citation for heroism. Johnny Corso, Detective First. Young, cool, and he cares. 24-hour cops for a 24-hour town. The people, the joys, the sorrows, the troubles. You ask him what's really the matter, you gotta stop him first.
NYPD in color on ABC.
As the mother-in-laws know, we've already talked to their daughters and son-in-laws prior to the show, and I'll be asking questions based on those conversations. This bachelor jury of prospective in-laws will be trying to decide just which mother-in-law they'd most like to call their very own, and that lucky mother-in-law will receive a check for $100. Now, ladies, you've already met your partners, so let's not tarry. Let's begin with mother-in-law number one, Mrs. Mary Batch. Your son-in-law, Jim, Mrs. Batch, told us that his honeymoon with your daughter got off to a very slow start because you were there with them on the honeymoon. Now, why did you do that to those poor newlyweds?
I thought it would speed it up.
You thought it would speed it up a little. What do you mean by that?
Well, I thought they'd have a better time. I thought they'd have a good time having me there, God.
That's right. Well, after the honeymoon, what was your opinion? You think they did or didn't?
Ask him for the next question.
Next question. Jim also told us that when all of you returned from their honeymoon, you followed them right into their apartment and lived there for 3 months.
That's right.
Now, may I ask, how did that work out?
Well, I didn't have to pay rent or buy food or anything.
So then you would say that worked out pretty good.
That's right.
All right, thank you. Let's move to mother-in-law number two, Mrs. Catherine Lindbergh. We understand that you also enjoy causing trouble for newlyweds. Your son-in-law, Mike, tells us that when he and your daughter stayed with you after their honeymoon, you made them sleep in a room with twin beds for a whole week. Now, don't you think that you owe us all a little explanation for that?
Well, it was Betsy's room, so I had the room. They were staying with me. They had no choice.
They certainly
They had to
did.
do what I told them. So they stayed where I put them.
And you think that was fair?
Sure.
All right.
It was fair.
Mike also told us that when he got sick during that week's stay at your house, you gave all of your neighbors a detailed clinical description of exactly what was wrong with him. Now, why did you do that?
Because I don't know. I didn't give my neighbors the details.
That's what he said.
Well, he's lying.
That's all.
He's lying.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Lindbergh. Let's move to mother-in-law number 3, Mrs. Weedad Graffiti. Your son-in-law, Frank, told us that not only do you refuse to let him enjoy sports on your new color television set, you won't even let him watch TV at his own house without constantly nagging and interrupting. Why do you keep making it impossible for him to relax?
What a big baloney. What do you mean by that? He come and hug the whole room. He lay himself under the TV, and now not only him lie down on the floor. He had his daughters and son and everybody in the family lie down there. You can't even pass by them. They disgusted. I can't even, in my own home, I can't even see my own program. I always have to give in for him.
Do you bother him at his house when he wants to watch his TV?
No, I don't. What do you mean I bother him?
Don't get angry with him.
If I bother him 1 inch more, he'll be inside the TV.
Frank also told us that he'd rather never play cards again than be your partner. Now, what have you done to make him feel that way?
Because I won him.
You won him? What do you mean, Mrs. Graffiti?
I win him. He's a bad loser like me. I hate to win.
He did mention to us that you're a sore loser.
I
You are.
am. Oh, yes, I agree. I can't. I'm not born to lose.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Graffiti. Thank you, ladies. We'll be back to hear our celebrities try to convince our bachelor jury that the mother-in-law they represent is the most adorable mother-in-law of the game right after this message.
The Nazi war machine had to face it.
Go!
Trouble behind their own lines. Guerrillas. 4 cons and a West Point lieutenant. Unconventionally qualified. Actor, name the role. He'll play it. Chief, silent. Lethal. Casino. The lock hasn't been made yet, baby. Gonif. Walls, no sweat. Lieutenant Greg Garrison. The brains and brawn to slam these 4 wild hoods into a crack guerrilla team and to pick up their respect on the way.
Any questions? All right, let's go.
Garrison's Guerrillas in color on ABC.
Time now for the celebrities to persuade the jury that the mother-in-law they represent is the best of the game. And first, representing Mrs. Batch, let's hear from Nipsey Russell.
The rooster is king of the barnyard. His pride is understood. But no matter how loudly a rooster may crow, it's the hen who delivers the goods. And so it has been. So it has been with my choice mother-in-law. She not only loved her children, she didn't abandon them. At the wedding, when the minister said, "I do," they said, "Do you?" She said, "You'd better." And they didn't tell you she went home, but it was her house. She's not a nag, like number 2, Miss Lindbergh. There's a woman with enough mouth for another row of teeth. She makes her children sleep in twin beds. Twin beds are only good for twins. She won't let her son-in-law be sick. She said he just thinks he's sick. So when he passes away, he said, "How's your son?" I said, "Well, he thinks he's dead." Mother-in-law number 3. Don't you know that television is very good? Television is very good. When a woman's home watching television, she's not out driving. Now, I think I can very easily wrap it up, said the man. I'll wrap up my whole statement in one. When your vote is cast, I know it will be made very fast for mother-in-law number 1, Mrs.
Thank you, Nipsey Russell. Next, representing Mrs. Lundberg, here's Milt Kamen. Milt?
My client, Mrs. Lindbergh, has been challenged.
Indeed.
Now, here, mother-in-law number 1, a giggler. Runs on a honeymoon and giggles all the time. Invites them to the house, allows them to do nothing but giggles in their face. That's not good for any couple.
What you thought was funny.
Now, number 2. That's what I mean. You never tell. Over here, number 3, Not a giggler, but a laugher.
Who, me?
A lady who wins cards from her son-in-law and then laughs in his face.
Oh, no.
And when he tries to go to TV to try to alleviate the pain of having lost to a lady, she turns off the TV and climbs inside and laughs at him some more. Here we have Mrs. Lindbergh, a woman whose own son-in-law lies. As you heard, he lies. There she was. She gave them twin beds in her house, too. Betsy's twin bed you let him sleep in, and he didn't even appreciate it. With a name like Lindbergh, how can you not say she's wonderful?
Thank you, Milt Kamen. And finally, representing Weedad Graffiti, here's Richard Dawson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the... Oh, I'm in the wrong studio. Excuse me. Mrs. Batch, you went on their honeymoon with them to speed things up? What a lovely scene, 9 o'clock at night on their honeymoon evening. Let's all go to bed, bye. No more questions. Mrs. Lindbergh, about your cheese. You have Betsy and Mike and you're worried about them? Let them be married. Enjoy marriage. I've been married 9 years and I'm very happy. We're happy, aren't we, Milt? Now, please look at my darling lady. Mother-in-law number 3. When you're number 3, you have to try a little harder. And she's trying to kill Frank, and we don't deny it. And he lies around, stares at television. I say when you have a name like Weedad Graffiti, you have enough trouble for life. There's the mother-in-law.
Thank you, Richard Dawson, and thank you, gentlemen. That concludes our celebrity summations. And now the moment has arrived when our bachelor jury, who will hopefully have their own mother-in-law someday, will select the one mother-in-law in this game that they'd most like to call their own. Remember, the winning mother-in-law will receive a check for $100. And we'll be back to hear the decision of the jury right after this message.
This man was frozen in a glacier for 67 years. Then he thawed out and started to live his second 100 years. Now, this middle-aged man is his son, delighted to have dear old Dad back, except for one small problem.
Well, if you really want to know, he happens to be my father.
Dear old Dad hasn't aged a day. He looks just like his 33-year-old grandson.
Ken, what are you doing on the floor?
Playing with my grandson.
Dad!
It's funny. It's outrageous.
Hi, Tiger. How'd you get out, Vale?
What are you talking about?
Oh, listen to Mr. Innocent. You sure take a good picture.
Grandpa! Dad!
Oh, no!
It's the second 100 years.
Grandpa!
In color on ABC.
Well, I have the vote of the jury, but before we hear the verdict, here's Roy Rowan with special gift for all of our mother-in-laws today. Roy?
Right here, Wink, with our Page perfume, that special touch of elegance for each of today's mother-in-laws. Promise her anything, but give her Arpège, the best perfume Paris has to offer. This season, give her everything Arpège by Lanvin. Our Game 1 runners-up will receive this Salamette, new from Rayette. It's the first hairdryer with a built-in facial sauna. Use them separately or together. Salamette also features new beautifying mist to superset your set from Rayette. Every mother-in-law loves flowers, so here's a big bouquet for our Game 2 runners-up. Ship and Shore blouses and shirts. Flower bright colors and so easy to care for. Then there's Ship and Shore's lightest and latest in sweaters and knits. How to blossom out this season in full bloom. Now back to Wink Martindale and the verdict for Game 1 and how's your mother-in-law?
Thank you, Roy. And now the moment when we find out if our jury thinks the most adorable mother-in-law of this game is Mrs. Mary Batch, Mrs. Catherine Lindbergh, or Mrs. Weedad Graffiti. And the decision of the jury is mother-in-law number 3, Mrs. Weedad Graffiti. Congratulations, Mrs. Graffiti. For being our winning mother-in-law for Game 1, you'll receive a check for $100. We'll be back with 3 new mother-in-laws for our second game right after this message.
What makes the new permanent press permanent? Miracle resins. They really work. What makes permanent press clothes almost impossible to get clean once they're heavily stained? The same miracle resins. These resins actually repel soap and water, detergents and water, or just plain water alone. That's one reason they dry so quickly. But there is something that can help you get them clean. New Miracle White Super Cleaner. Miracle White Super Cleaner actually helps your detergent get through the new miracle resins without breaking them down. Helps lift out dirt and stains like a powerful magnet. The result? The press is still permanent. But the dirt and stains are gone. Your clothes are really like new again. If it doesn't get all your permanent press clothes as clean as new without losing the press, the makers of Miracle White Super Cleaner will double your money back.
And now let's meet our mother-in-laws for game 2. Mother-in-law number 1 hails from Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. She once won a bubble gum contest. Meet Mrs. Barbara Strong. Mother-in-law number 2 is a native of Los Angeles, California. Her son-in-law once threatened to shave her cat. Meet Mrs. Patricia Burich. Mother-in-law number 3 is a secretary from New York City and believes that a mother-in-law should keep her mouth shut and her pocketbook open. Meet Mrs. Gloria Shear. As the mother-in-laws go, we've talked to their daughters and son-in-laws prior to this show, and I'll be asking questions based on those conversations. Let's begin with mother-in-law number 1, Mrs. Barbara Strong. Your son-in-law, Terry, told us that you're still laughing about the time he burned himself with a cigarette on the way to a party. How could you find so much amusement in such a mishap?
Well, because he was so emotional about it. He has beautiful black curly hair, and he reached his hand up in here, and he held his hand out, and he kept going like this, and he kept saying, gee, look down in there. He says, is there a hole clear to my scalp? And I was laughing. He says, Mom, stop it. It isn't even funny. And he was so exasperated with me because I thought that was funny, and he was hurting.
Every time Terry comes to your house for a visit, you either slam the door in his face or squirt him with a squirt gun. Now, why aren't you more cordial to him?
Well, I just tell him, I pretend like he's a salesman, and I just open the door and I say, no, thank you, I don't want any. And I just slam the door.
You do that to all salesmen who come to your door?
No, just him.
Thank you, Mrs. Strong. Let's go to mother-in-law number 2, Mrs. Patricia Burich, is it? Mrs. Burich, we found out that just before Bob became your new son-in-law, you pinned him bodily to your living room floor and wouldn't let him get up. Now, what was your reason for doing a crazy thing like that?
Well, he probably deserved it. I can't remember too much. I'm not positive. It's the time we tried to pants him. But I can't pants him.
The time you tried to what?
Next question.
Let's move along, Mrs. Burich. Bob also told us that a few days before he married your daughter, you presented him with a leopard skin wraparound towel and a matching pair of slippers. Did you want him to be the laughingstock of their bridal suite?
Well, I didn't think anybody was going to see him but her, and I didn't want him just running around in his skivvies.
Skivvies?
Shorts.
Shorts, oh, yes. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Burich. Let's move to mother-in-law number 3. This is Mrs. Gloria Shear. We understand that you insisted your son-in-law, Daniil, visit your bargain tailor. Now, Daniil tells us that not only have all the pockets fallen off the new suit, but the shirts you gave him from the same tailor fell apart the first time they were washed. Now, why would you suggest such a rotten tailor to your son-in-law?
Well, he was the cheapest. The cheapest tailor that I knew of, and Daniil couldn't afford too much. And the suits that my husband got from this tailor were pretty good. So I told Daniil, go to him. But, no, Daniil is my son-in-law.
Oh.
But I guess he must have gotten something from the old stocks because, anyway, this tailor's out of business now.
Yes. By the way, your son-in-law has been waiting 2.5 years for you to repair the damage you did when you carelessly ripped out the shelves in his new house. What do you plan to do about that?
Say April Fool.
Well, I had a good idea for that particular wall.
Yes.
But I can't find the time to finish it. I told him to rip the shelves out, and we would fix it up real good. But they've been living in the house now for 2 years, and I'm working. And I keep telling him, as soon as I get a spare moment, we'll think about it.
All right, let's think about that, Mrs. Shear. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies. Now, coming up, our celebrity representatives will try to impress our jury of prospective in-laws that the lovely lady they represent has got to be the best mother-in-law of the game. And that happens right after this message.
Treating a kid's cold discomfort used to mean,
Come on now, honey, hold still. Please hold still.
or,
Let me rub this in.
and.
Take your aspirin.
Now, there's the combined relief of Congesperin cold tablets. Congesperin combines children's aspirin plus a decongestant for stuffy, runny nose. Helps even 3-year-olds sleep better. Chewable orange-flavored Congesperin, like a medicine chest in a tablet.
Spray waxes are okay for waxing, but for everyday dusting, clean with N-Dust. It picks up where spray waxes leave off and goes everywhere. There's no wax in N-Dust, so it can clean up dust anywhere it settles, including the floor. Clean up the dust with N-Dust.
Now it's time again for the celebrities to try and convince our jury of bachelors and bachelorettes that the mother-in-law they represent is the most adorable of all. And representing Mrs. Strong, here's Nipsey Russell.
I've been seeking to try and find a place to get my mother-in-law a one-way ticket on the next ship to outer space. But that does not apply to Miss Strong because she's out of the world already. And I'll tell you, she's a bubblegum champion. Why shouldn't she chew him out a little bit? Now, she squirted him with water because he comes in with his head on fire. But let us go to the end of the line, down to Miss Cher. She sends her son to the tailor. She tells him, put no clothes on the cuffs and put no cuffs on the clothes. We come, now Miss Burich, she was a nag. She will give an aspirin a headache. Since Eve fed the apple to Adam, we have been fed up with women who have been dominating their sons. She tells him what to do and when to do it and where to go. So we work right back along the line till we come to the nation's choice, to my choice. Miss Strong, I'm very strong for you. You guys.
Thank you, Nipsey Russell. Now representing Mrs. Burris, here's Bill Kamen.
Let's face it, we're here in a situation where 2 of the mother-in-laws don't particularly like their son-in-laws. Here we have Mrs. Strong, who describes her son-in-law's burning hair by exposing him in an entirely different way.
She just said he had a hole in the head.
That kind of funny fellow we don't want to hear about on the show. It's obvious she doesn't like him. When he comes around, she slams the door. We don't want any. That gives a fellow a lot of confidence. Now, over here we have Mrs. Cher. Delightful lady, soft-spoken. Oh, boy. Send him to a rotten tailor, and you say the tailor's out of business, huh? So is your son Daniel by now. Well, anyhow, you keep on talking your soft way, but I'm sure he'll punch you soon. I forgive you, but he never will. But here we have my little mother-in-law who really loves her son-in-law. Sure, she strapped him to the floor. She liked him. He was nervous. And so she wanted him to get over that. And she gave him not ordinary pajamas, but leopard skin to make him look like a man, something he is not. A real woman who makes a man feel like a man, my mother-in-law. I throw her on your feet.
Thank you, Milky. Finally, representing Mrs. Shear, here's Richard Dawson.
Mrs. Shear, excuse my back. Mrs. Strong, excuse my front. That's the way I'm built. Got to be a barrel of laughs at your house, Mrs. Strong. Son-in-law running around looking like a flaming Bombay, squirting him with the gun, bashing him in the nose with the door. Terry, did you say his name was? Make a fuss of him. He's not going to be with you long. Then, of course, Mrs. Burt. who pinned little Bob down on the ground. You don't remember why you threw him to the ground, huh? Still having the dizzy spells. Mrs. Shear, mother-in-law number 3. She helps the boy. Daniel, is that his name? She helps him. Believe me, that is what a mother-in-law must do. Our mother-in-law helped my wife and I. We don't stay at home messing around with shelves. We go out twice a week, without fail, dinner and dancing, just to keep romance alive. I go Mondays and Wednesdays. My wife goes Thursdays. Mrs. Shear, mother-in-law of the whole show.
Thank you, Richard Dawson. Thank you, celebrities. We'll be back to the important moment when we find out just who the jury has selected as the most desirable mother-in-law of the game right after this message.
30% flat. 30% flat.
Robert McLaughlin! You leave those slaps alone and give us back the right guard. Don't you dare fly away and leave us defenseless.
Lachlan, you took your family's right guard? Yeah, you're grounded.
Oh, no. Gillette Right Guard, the perfect personal family deodorant, because nothing touches you but the spray itself. So share the Right Guard, or make sure there's an extra can around the house. Don't leave your family defenseless.
Why try a tie? Risk a dish. Be the bum who sends a drum rum-a-tum. Why take a chance on cowboy pants with a big black belt, silver buckles, brass knuckles, and a drop forged triple chrome pearl handle 6-shooters? Why? Here's what to give.
Paper mate, paper mate.
To a him, give a paper mate slim.
Paper mate.
To a she, give a lady capri.
Give a paper mate.
Give a paper mate pair. Make it a threesome by adding a flare.
Give a
Paper mate.
Again, it's time to find out which mother-in-law the jury would most like to call their very own. Now, will it be Mrs. Barbara Strong, Mrs. Patricia Burich, or Mrs. Gloria Shear? The decision of the jury is mother-in-law number 2, Mrs. Patricia Burich. Congratulations, Mrs. Burich. For being our winning mother-in-law for Game 2, you'll receive a check for $100. Congratulations to you and to both winners on today's show. That's our show for today. We'll see you all again tomorrow when we again ask the question, how's your mother-in-law? By the way, don't forget to watch Temptation, which precedes us over most of these same ABC stations. Until tomorrow, Wink Martindale saying goodbye. Is a Chuck Barrett creation in association with the American Broadcasting Company.
If you like this, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more game show gems here in the vault. You can also find more fun stuff on our Facebook page or connect with other fans on the Wink Facebook groups.